Have you ever walked into a conference room, maybe right before a really high-stakes negotiation or something, and before anyone even says a word, you just want to run?
Oh, absolutely. It's visceral. The air just feels heavy.
Right, it's thick. It's almost like a emotional humidity. Or, on the flip side, think about meeting someone for the first time.
Hmm.
Maybe a stranger or a friend of a friend. And they aren't even smiling, necessarily, but you just feel safe, your shoulders drop, you feel calm.
We usually just call that a vibe, right? Good vibes, bad vibes. It's so common in our vocabulary now.
Exactly. We treat it like it's a metaphor, just slang for a gut feeling. But
I've got a stack of research here today that's asking a pretty radical question. What if vibe isn't a metaphor?
okay.
What if that feeling is actual physical stuff that you are manufacturing and, well, shooting out of your body like a biological radio tower? It is a fascinating question. And you're right, usually we dismiss it as intuition or subconscious cues our brain's picking up on. But the material we're diving into today, specifically a text called The Power of Mind and the Light of Metta, argues this is all mechanical.
Mechanical.
It's biological. And it tries to bridge, modern ideas about physics with the ancient Buddhist philosophy of the Abhidhamma.
And I want to be super clear for everyone listening, because I know how this can sound. We're not breaking out the crystal balls today.
Not at all.
We're not talking fortune-telling or reading palms.
No, that's not what this source is about. This is incredibly technical, actually.
It is. It reads less like a mystical scroll and more like an instruction manual for a piece of, I don't know, high-end machinery.
Yeah.
Except the machine is you.
That's a great way to put it. The mission for this deep dive is to explore that claim, that the human mind literally creates matter. We're going to look at how the text describes the body as a transmission tower, and then, and this is the part I'm really excited about,
Me too.
we're going to walk through the user manual it provides for tuning your personal frequency, how to switch your output from hot to cool.
And hot and cool being very literal terms, not just slang for angry or relaxed.
Yeah.
But let's start with the baseline. Because even if we, leave the philosophy aside for a second, science already says we're broadcasting, doesn't it?
It does. The source grounds us in basic physics first to show this isn't magic. We tend to think our bodies are these sealed units. My body ends at my skin.
Right.
But scientifically, that's just not true. We are constantly emitting infrared radiation.
Which is heat.
Exactly, heat. If you look at a person through night vision goggles, they are literally glowing. You're broadcasting infrared light. And on top of that, we generate weak electromagnetic fields from the heart, from the brain.
So every heartbeat, every thought.
It's generating a tiny electrical field.
Yeah.
That is measurable fact. You are, by definition, a radiator of energy.
So when I say I feel warmth from someone or I feel a magnetic personality, I'm not. I'm not just being poetic. There's something real there.
To a degree, yes.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, standard psychology would push back a little here.
Sure.
A psychologist would say that when you feel the tension in a room, your brain is just hyperanalyzing micro-expressions, posture, pheromones. It's a calculation.
Right. My brain sees a furrowed brow and tight shoulders and just tells me danger, even if I haven't consciously processed it.
Precisely. It's data processing. But here's the shift. The source material, pulling from the Abhidhamma, which is the ultimate reality framework in Buddhism, it says, yes, body language is real, but there is something else happening underneath it.
Okay.
A direct production of physical energy coming from the mind itself.
This is the part that, this is what blew my mind. The idea that the mind isn't just software running on the brain's hardware.
Right.
The source argues the mind is a factory. It produces stuff.
It produces matter. And the source uses a very specific, very technical term for it, chittajarupa.
Chittarupa. That is a mouthful. We need to unpack that for everyone listening.
Yeah, it sounds complicated, but it breaks down pretty simply. Citta is a mind, or consciousness.
Okay, citta, mind. Got it.
And rupa is matter, or physical form. So you just put them together. Chittajarupa is matter produced by the mind.
Okay, but what kind of matter we're talking about here? Is this like Ghostbuster stuff, ectoplasm?
Think subatomic. Think energy fields. The text explains that the mind doesn't just, float in a void. It relies on a physical base. Now, in Western science, we'd say the mind lives in the brain.
Right.
But in this tradition, the seat of consciousness is the Hridaya Vatu, the heart base.
The heart base, so not the brain. That seems like a conflict with biology.
It is a conflict if you see them as mutually exclusive, but the text is very specific. It points to the heart base located physically near the heart as the point of origin for this mechanism. And the description of how it works it's vivid.
How so?
It says that when a thought or an emotion arises, it doesn't just float through your neurons, it strikes the heart base.
Strikes it like a physical impact.
Yes. The analogy I use is like a mallet hitting a gong. The heart base is the gong, the thought is the mallet.
Okay, I can see that. I have a thought. Say I'm angry about an email. That anger is the mallet, and it hits the gong of my heart pace.
Right. And what happens when you hit a gong?
It vibrates. It makes a sound, sends out a ripple.
Exactly. It sends out a wave. But in this case, instead of a sound wave, it's a wave of chitta-jarupa, these little clusters of energy traveling through your body. The text says this energy permeates everything, your blood, your nerves, and then it shoots outward.
So I am literally rippling with the physics of my own thoughts.
You are. You're a pebble dropped in a pond, constantly making ripples. And here's where it gets really interesting for our daily lives. The quality of that matter depends entirely on what kind of thought hit the gong.
This is the quality check the Source talks about. So not all vibes are created equal.
No. The Source draws a really sharp contrast. Let's say you're angry, you're stressed, jealous, whatever. The matter produced by these states is described as coarse, hot, and dark.
Hot matter. I feel like I've sat next to that person on the bus.
Yeah.
They aren't looking at you, they aren't touching you, but you can feel the heat.
And according to this text, you literally are. It's a coarse, agitated energy. It's essentially pollution. On the flip side, if the mind is in a state of metta,
Which is loving kindness or benevolence.
right, or if you're mindful, these states involve different cetasika.
So tasika, another new term.
They're mental factors. Think of them as the ingredients of a thought. So if the ingredients are wholesome, kindness, clarity, calm, they produce matter. The text calls clear, refined, and light.
So a good aura isn't a metaphor for someone being nice. It's a description of the physical quality of the energy they're emitting.
Exactly. It's the difference between standing next to a jackhammer course, loud, shaking everything, and standing next to a calm lake. The physics are just different.
This brings us back to the transmission tower idea.
Yeah.
We are always transmitting. But why is the signal sometimes weak? You know, sometimes I walk into a room and I don't feel anything from people.
That is the crucial question. Because you mentioned feeling it instantly. That implies a strong signal. But most of the time, our signals are weak. The Source talks about amplifying the signal.
Right. I mean, I can think happy thoughts, but I don't think I'm changing the atmospheric pressure. It feels internal. What makes it external?
It comes down to a technical concept called Jivana Siddha.
Jivana Siddha. Sounds fast.
It is fast. It refers to the impulsion of the mind. It's about the mind arising and passing away in the exact same emotional state over and over really rapidly. It's about density.
Density of thought.
Yes. Think about your normal state of mind. It's all over the place. You're thinking about lunch, then a meeting, then, oh, a bird, then my shoe is tight.
That sounds like my brain 90% of the time. Just a browser with 50 tabs open.
That's most of us. And because thoughts are changing every millisecond, the gong is being hit by 100 different mallets. The vibration is just scrambled. It's noise.
It's static.
It's static. Weak noise. To turn that static into a real broadcast, a signal strong enough to be felt, the Source gives us two specific amplifiers. The first one is samadhi.
Which we usually translate as concentration.
Yes, but think of it physically. The text uses the analogy of a magnifying glass and a dry leaf in the sun.
Right. If you hold it still, you focus the light and it catches fire.
You're taking scattered sunlight, which is warm but harmless, and focusing it into a single high-intensity point. That's samadhi. You gather the scattered energy of the mind and you focus it at the heart base. You concentrate the beam.
Okay, so I need to focus. But focus is hard. My mind wanders.
Which brings us to the second amplifier, virya.
Virya.
It translates to perseverance or effort. But in this context, think of it as the grip on the magnifying glass. Virya is the unrelenting intention to hold it steady.
Because if I move my hand, the heat just dissipates.
Exactly. If you get distracted, the beam breaks. Virya is the duration and the intensity of the hold. When you combine samadhi, the focus, and virya, the sustained effort, that chitta-rupa becomes incredibly dense and powerful. It stops being static and becomes a laser.
Okay, so we have the theory. We have the machinery, the fuel, the amplifier. Now I want to get to the user manual part, because the text actually lays out a step-by-step process. It's not just be nice. It's a specific protocol.
It is. And honestly, this is where most people fail when they try to send good vibes.
Yeah.
They skip the mechanics.
So step one in the text is the tuning. It suggests using a phrase like, may all beings be happy, but, and this is the part I highlighted, it says you can't just repeat it by rote.
Right. This is the parrot mode trap. If you just say the words in your head while you're actually thinking about your grocery list, that's just surface noise.
It's like typing on a keyboard that isn't plugged in.
Perfect analogy. The Source emphasizes you have to feel in with the meaning. You repeat the phrase until the heart base actually feels full or satisfied. You're looking for a visceral reaction.
So you're saying the words until you feel a physical shift in your chest.
Exactly. You are waiting for the engine to catch. It might take 5 minutes, it might take 20, but you don't move on until you feel that fullness. Then you go to step 2, the visualization. And the details here are very specific and honestly surprising.
This was my favorite part, because usually when we talk about energy, we think of fire, the sun. But the text tells you to visualize a light emerging from your chest.
Yeah.
But it warns you, do not make it a fire.
This is a crucial distinction. Fire is hot. Fire burns. Remember, we said anger produces hot matter. We're trying to produce metta, loving kindness. The Source compares the light you should visualize to moonlight on a full moon night.
Moonlight on a full moon night. That implies something very specific. It's bright, but it's cool.
It's cool, it's silvery, it's soothing. The advice is to focus on the temperature. The feeling must be cool and bright. If you visualize the sun, you might accidentally trigger the wrong kind of energy agitation, heat. You want the cooling property of the moon.
That's so counterintuitive. We usually associate warmth with love. I feel warm towards you. But this text says real benevolence is cool.
Think of it as cooling down suffering. If someone is angry, which is hot, or stressed, which is hot, you don't want to blast them with more heat. You want to offer a cooling balm. Metta cools the fires of the mind.
I like that. Okay, so I've got the engine running. I'm feeling the meaning. I have this cool moonlight visualization in my chest. Now, step 3, the expansion. How do we get it out?
This is where you use that samadhi we talked about. You use your concentration to physically push the light out. And the Source gives a very clear progression. First, push the cool light past your skin, then through the walls of the room you're in.
You just keep going.
You don't stop. You visualize it covering the house, then the city, the country, the world, and finally, infinite space. The text describes it like a cool, clear mist, expanding everywhere.
A cool, clear mist. That's such a calming image. It feels like you're terraforming the emotional landscape around you.
That is literally what you're doing. The goal is to reach a state called Mahagatatata.
Makatasita. That sounds like the boss level.
It is. It translates to the expanded mind. It means your consciousness is no longer confined to your body. Your vibe has become so large and dense that it is literally tuning the atmosphere around you.
And the Source claims this has a tangible effect on other people. It's not just me feeling good in a bubble.
No, it affects the environment. It claims a signal this strong actually cools down the heat of others nearby. If someone walks into your field carrying a lot of hot anger, the physical properties of your cool matter can neutralize or dampen their hot matter.
So in a very literal sense, you are chilling them out.
You are. You're not just ignoring their bad mood. You're actively broadcasting a frequency that interferes with it. You're changing the climate of the room.
That is incredibly empowering. Because usually in a toxic environment or a stressful meeting, we feel like victims, like we're just absorbing everyone else's garbage.
Right. We say the air in here is toxic all the time.
Exactly. But this flips the script. It says, no, you are a generator. You don't have to just sit there and take the heat. You can generate the cool.
That's the core philosophy here. You are not a passive receiver. You are an active transmitter. The Source is telling us we have a responsibility for our broadcast.
It makes you rethink air pollution. We worry about smog, carbon emissions, but we don't think about the emotional or vibrational smog we pump out.
And that's a perfect connection. If we accept the premise of this Source, that this energy is real, then a city full of angry, stressed people is literally creating a hot, coarse, dark atmosphere.
It's a heat island effect, but for the mind.
Exactly. It's a feedback loop. The air is hot, so you get hot, so you pump out more heat. But the reverse is also true. A single person broadcasting this cool moonlight acts as a purification filter. And the more people who do it, the clearer the air gets.
So what does this look like in practice for our listener? Let's say they have a huge negotiation coming up, or even just a family dinner that always ends in an argument. How do they prep?
The challenge would be to try the visualization before you walk in. This is key. Don't wait until the tension is high. Sit for 5 minutes in your car or in the bathroom.
5 minutes.
Do the tuning. May all beings be happy. Feel it in the heart base. Then, visualize that cool moonlight. Push it out until it fills the room you are about to be in.
Pre-paving the room with cool mist.
Yes. When you walk in, you aren't walking into a neutral room. You're walking into your own stabilized energy field. And it's going to be harder for other people's static to knock you off frequency.
I love that. It's like putting on invisible armor, but instead of blocking things out, you're just radiating so strongly that nothing else can stick.
And remember the scale. The Source talks about expanding this to the world. It suggests that world peace isn't just a political concept you sign on a piece of paper.
Right, it's not just treaties and handshakes.
No. From this perspective, world peace is the cumulative effect of individual signals. If enough people tune their Hadayavatu to the cool frequency, the global atmosphere literally changes.
That is a massive idea. We always think, what can I do? I'm just one person. But this text says, you are a transmission tower. Your signal matters.
It matters more than you think. You don't get to choose if you broadcast. That's the part that's a little scary. Your biological machinery. You are always broadcasting. You only get to choose what you broadcast. Is it heat and chaos? Or is it cool, clear peace?
That is the question we're going to leave you with today. Next time you're in a crowded place or just sitting in traffic and someone cuts you off, try that moonlight visualization. Don't just react. See if you can feel the temperature change. See if you can become that cool mist in a hot world.
It might just change your day. And who knows, it might just change the day of the person next to you, too.
Thank you so much for exploring this with us. It's been a fascinating deep dive.
My pleasure. Keep tuning that signal.
Catch you next time.